Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Mid Speeds live class. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll mute everyone. All right, here we go. Let's start off with some common words. Ready? Key, broke, city, slow, gun, enjoy, child, remain, lead, throat, normal, somewhere, wake, pair, sky, funny, business, student, giggle, jeans, bright, admit, given, children, sweet, store, low, climb, rub, apartment, knee, shoe, attack, bedroom, joke, spent, stuck, situation, gently, possible, sell, mention, silent, definitely, rush, groan, hang, hung, ass, rock, card, lose, blush, besides, crazy, type, bore, afraid, chase, marry, respond, remind. All right. Now, a few weeks ago, I started a drill with this, that, these, those. We only got through half of it, so we're going to finish the other half. Here we go. Ready? Those masters, these faces, this legion, that trailer, this roster, that expense, that record, those papers, this problem, this control, supply that, those colors, this canvas, those outlines, that enemy, that income, this engine, those lamps, this dish, these grills, those pools, these computers, that parcel, those comics, these units, that system, these campers, this poster, that flower, cancel this, carry that, that suspect, forgot this, these benefits, these tops, this report, see that, recall that, those boxes, those gardens, try those, this lumber, these cabinets, this figure, these pencils, that canopy. Now, if you struggled with that, I want you to go back and redo it and focus on your accuracy. All right, those are common mistakes with those particular words. All right. Now, our next drill is going to be a doctor directory drill. So it's going to have doctors' names. I'm going to spell the last name, an address, phone number, times of operation, and what hospital they are located at. Here we go. Ready? General practice, Lloyd, Frederick J. M.D., F-R-E-D-E-R-I-C-K, Lloyd, L-L-O-Y-D, NPI number 003-151-654, 264 North Highland Springs Avenue, number 5A, Banning, California, 92220, 951-769-0079. Hours of operation, 8 to 8, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 on Fridays, 2 to 8 on Sunday. San Gregorio Memorial Hospital, DOC number 15280533303, LSMA. Lee, Michael J. M.D., LEE, NPI number 00C153298, Internal Medicine, 1169 West Ramsey Street, Banning, California, 92221. 951-849-1543. 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital, DOC number 152-8277-689, VMG. Family Practice. Eric R. Grover, GROVERDO, NPI number 00F144766, 18601 Valley Boulevard, Bloomington, California, 92316. Phone number 909-546-7520. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Saturday. Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, DOC number 11748-01279, IFMG. Family Practice. Ashraf Zadshir, ZADSHIR, MD, NPI number 00E043150. Address 69175 Ramon Road, number A, Cathedral City, California, 92342. Phone number 760-321-6776. Open 8 to 8, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 on Saturday, 8 to 12 Sunday. Located at Desert Regional Medical Center, DOC number 132-6314258, LSMA. Internal Medicine. Henry Chin, MD, CHEN, NPI number 01L231074, 5450 Jefferson Avenue, number 2, Chino, California, 91710. Phone number 909-591-3869. Open 9 to 5, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 to 12 on Wednesday. Pomona Valley Hospital Medical Center, DOC number 19624011489, IV. Lin Yinche, LIN, NPI number 006C22178. Address 13085 Central Avenue, number 6, Chino, California, 91710. Phone number 909-902-5285. Open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Located at Montclair Hospital Medical Center, DOC number 189-1874012, VMG. All right, so we'll stop there. All right, so I've got some cities and states. Here we go. Ready? Cleveland, Ohio. San Antonio, Texas. Washington, D.C. Phoenix, Arizona. Orlando, Florida. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Albany, New York. Billings, Montana. Hoboken, New Jersey. Atlanta, Georgia. Pierre, South Dakota. Denver, Colorado. Lincoln, Nebraska. Seattle, Washington. Springfield, Illinois, Madison, Wisconsin, Detroit, Michigan, and Denver, Colorado. All right. Now I've got a basic brief review from theory. We've got minute, yesterday, opinion, general, January, February. And here are your sentences. January begins the new year. In just a minute, and you can phrase just a minute, J-A-M-T, and just a moment is J-O-M-T. The curtain will go up. So let me say that again so you get practice with it. In just a minute, the curtain will go up. Yesterday was February 17. Go ahead and express your opinion. The inauguration is January 20. What is the general policy? I will tell you my opinion in a minute. What did you do yesterday? Valentine's Day is February 14. I only have a minute. Liam is informed in a general way. You must value the opinions of others. January is generally quite cold. Lincoln's birthday is February 12th. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the staff. There seems to be a general malaise. The pipes were ordered yesterday. Generally, it only takes a minute to get your order. Yesterday was the last day of January. We will need to use every minute. Do you agree with his opinion? His general condition was good when I saw him yesterday. Do classes start in February or January? That may be your opinion, but it is not my opinion. Yesterday was extremely hot for a day in February. February only has 28 days. Can you take a minute to look at the plan? The party was held in January. He shares most of our opinions. If you take a minute to look over it, generally you will not make a mistake. Are you going to spend January and February in Florida? I will let you know the minute that I hear from General Nelson. I called him yesterday. January has 31 days. It took several minutes to get an answer. I think it was generally understood at the meeting yesterday. It was not the consensus. All right. Now, I have a finger dexterity drill. Okay, here we go. Ready? Roast crude these. Whack with thug. Creak slight thigh. Snake ground brain. Sheet fret sweet. Thief stream lift. Grand slick chart. Whim grab check. Cheer bread sneer. Froze sway strike. Thrift charge bluff. Grim fruit then. Grouch wheat flop. Snow fright snooze. Tread strain treat. Blunt brick cheese. Speak sleet fresh. Glad sweep third. All right. Now, sentences that focus on the double O. So anytime we've got a word that is spelled O-O, we write it as A-O, no matter what the sound is. Okay, here we go. Ready? Don't be late for school. Are you going to the football game? The house needs a new roof. The spoon should be on the right. Are you going to leave at noon or sooner than that? He stood in the way. It is a wooden fence. Use the red stool so that you can reach. The bolt is loose. Use proper tools. The floor needs sweeping. That is a good spot for a picnic in the woods. The food is just great. He is no fool. The coat has a hood. The troops came home last week. Don't be a poor sport. Maybe he snoozed through class. Can you swim the length of the pool? Boulder Dam used to be called Hoover Dam. He croons the old ballads. The flood is due tomorrow. The proof is in the pudding. The hen is in the coop. It is a cooler day. The sweater is virgin wool. You must proofread. Have you ever heard the cry of a loon? The pool is not deep enough to dive in. If you do it that way, the plan is foolproof. If the trees are close together, the woods can be quite dark. Mr. Cooper told us to clean the pool. John stood up for the smaller boy. He went over to the pool room about noon. A poop deck is a small deck which is over the main afterdeck of a ship. Okay, so now pudding, even though it has kind of that oo sound, it's spelled with a U, so we use a U. Okay, just a little reminder there. All right. Now, I've got one last thing for you before we start our literary. So our last drill is going to be initial consonants that start with TR. Okay, here we go. Ready? No treasure is worthy of treason. Some tremors are tremendous. The trembler caused us to tremble. Visiting the Treasury building is a treat. They signed the treaty under a tree. The soldiers tremored in the trenches. It was a long trek to the trellis. The trembler caused us to tremble. Today's trend is trying to tramp. Her tresses were trailing. A triade tried to trip us. The trolley transported the trollops. Trial transcripts are trying at times. Don't trifle with the tributary. We had a troupe playing trombones. The true trucker played a trump. A tropical trophy from the tropics is terrific. Truman tried to create trust. Truants tried to catch trout. He trusted the trunk to the troops. He tripped over the trite truism. All right. Moving into literary. I've got a 1-paragraph technical answer for you. You are going to hear exhaust fumes, engine, odor, adjust, carbon monoxide, and then your phrases are going to be if you are, into the, have the, in a. So focus on phrasing those. Okay, I'm going to read this once at 120, then again at 140, and the last time at 160. Here we go. Ready? You cannot see carbon monoxide, and it has no color and no odor. Carbon monoxide is, however, present in exhaust fumes. Never drive if you smell the exhaust. Have your car checked immediately and have the condition corrected. If you run the engine while you are stopped, open the windows and adjust the air system to draw outside air into the car. Never run the engine while you are in a confined space. All right, let's do that again at 140. You cannot see carbon monoxide and it has no color and no odor. Carbon monoxide is, however, present in exhaust fumes. Never drive if you smell the exhaust. Have your car checked immediately and have the condition corrected. If you run the engine while you are stopped, open the windows and adjust the air system to draw outside air into the car. Never run the engine while you are in a confined space. All right, so let's do that one more time. Do that one more time at 160. I'm just marking my watch here. All right, here we go. Ready? You cannot see carbon monoxide and it has no color and no odor. Carbon monoxide is, however, present in exhaust fumes. Never drive if you smell the exhaust. Have your car checked immediately and have the condition corrected. If you run the engine while you are stopped, open the windows and adjust the air system to draw outside air into the car. Never run the engine while you are in a confined space. All right. Moving on to life in the Navy, submarine force. This is going to be continuation, what we have been working on. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start this at, it's a little more difficult, so I'll start this at 120 and work my way to 140. Okay, here we go. The hallmark of the Navy's submarine force is its ability to protect national interests in a stealthy, adaptive, and efficient manner anywhere the need arises, whether it is the strategic deterrence provided by the Fleet Ballistic Missile Submarines, known as SSBN, or the Updated Guided Missile Submarine, SSGN, providing a multi-mission capability that includes special forces deployment to the attack submarine, SSN, designated to seek and destroy enemy submarines and surface ships. The submarine force is the most advanced in the world. With the end of the Cold War, the Navy began adapting some of its largest and most capable Ohio-class SSBN fleet into a platform that more effectively meets the nation's strategic needs. The Ohio-class guided missile submarines are armed with tactical missiles and equipped with superior communications capabilities. SSGNs are also uniquely designed to house and deliver special operation forces wherever in the world they are needed. SSGNs have crews of 15 officers and 144 enlisted personnel. Crew conditions aboard the SSGNs are much the same as aboard the original Ohio-class SSBN. Ohio-class Trident Ballistic Missile Submarines, SSBN, are among the most capable and complex ships in the Navy. The largest of the submarine fleet, the SSBN, has a crew of 15 officers and 148 enlisted personnel. In addition to the commissioned officer and chief petty officers' quarters, each Trident submarine has 14 9-man U-shaped bunk rooms, serving as the crew's main living and sleeping areas. Lounge and mess areas are equipped to show movies or television while in port. A closed-circuit audio system pipes music and other content to each of the crew bunks, similar to the system used on airliners. The library area is large enough to accommodate about 8 people. The lounge area is big enough for about 15 crewmen. Physical fitness is still a priority while serving aboard a submarine, and hydraulic weight equipment, pulleys, treadmills, rowing machines, and stationary bikes are available. Excellent meals are served in a spacious dining facility. The Navy also employs the attack submarine, SSN. Attack submarines are smaller but faster and more operationally flexible than the ballistic missile submarines. The stealth and versatility of attack submarines provide an exciting opportunity for you to be involved in some of the most exciting military operations you can imagine. The Virginia, Seawolf, and Los Angeles classes are the 3 classes of attack submarines. The submarine force is dynamic and forward-reaching in capability and design. No matter which class or platform you serve aboard, you will be joining the most elite force in the world. The mission is primary, but it's not all work in the Navy's submarine force. During free time, movies and physical fitness are still a priority, even with less space available. Life aboard attack submarines is challenging and exciting, with opportunities for overseas deployments and foreign port visits. Whether you are steaming under the polar ice cap or enjoying liberty in a foreign port with 100 of your closest friends, your future as a member of the nuclear-powered submarine service will be filled with challenges and accomplishments unavailable anywhere else. Just remember, if you see an aircraft carrier battle group sent by the president to a hotspot around the globe, chances are a submarine is already there. All right, we'll stop there. There is more, but we're going to stop there. And I'm going to give you one more piece of literary before we jump into jury charge. This is a continuation of the Bodie State Historical Park. Okay, all right, here we go. The Lottie and Eli Joel House is located at spot number 15. Lottie married Eli Joel in Nevada before moving to Bodie in 1883. The couple's successful mining investments allowed them to purchase houses and several saloons. Lottie took up painting in Bodie. One of her paintings hangs in the Miners Union Hall Museum. From 1932 to 1942, the post office was located here. Number 16, Sam Leon's Bar, Joe Hayner Barber Shop. The bar was opened in 1937 by Sam Leon after losing his U.S. hotel in the 1932 fire. This building was previously a restaurant operated by the Hayes family. Leon was born in China in 1879. He also ran cafes and boarding houses in Bodie. The adjoining barber shop was owned by Joe Hayner, the last barber to work in Bodie. The area just north of the barber shop was the site of one of August Soldering's assay offices. Soldering lived in Bodie from the boom years into the early 1900s. Number 17, Firehouse. This firehouse was rebuilt in the 1930s by the California Conservation Corps. Volunteer firefighting companies battled a number of fires over the years. Bodie's biggest fires were on July 25, 1892 and June 23, 1932. The 1892 fire started on Main Street in a restaurant owned by Mrs. James Perry and consumed about 60 buildings. Efforts to fight the fire were delayed due to the valve closed inadvertently. Lack of water also plagued those who battled the 1932 blaze. That time, poorly maintained screens at the reservoir led to rocks and debris clogging up the pipes. Number 18, Wheaton and Lures. George H. Wheaton and Nicholas C. Lures built a store here in the early 1880s. The sign displayed their names and was later covered up with a new sign, Bodie's Store, after Lures died. The overlapping signs revealed after the building's white paint faded appeared to read Wheaton and Hollis, but there was never anyone named Hollis associated with it. J.S. Kane bought the store in 1898. According to his daughter-in-law, Ella Kane, the building had been a U.S. land office from 1885 to 1886, when her father, Michael J. Cody, worked there after his appointment with President Cleveland. In 1910, it became offices for the hydroelectric company that transmitted electricity to the town from Lundy Canyon. After the Clinton West Company arrived in the late 1820s, the building became a hotel and boarding house. Josie Pearl, known for her cooking, was hired. As she had in other mining camps, she continued mining on the side. Number 19, hydroelectric building, previously a substation for distribution of the town's electricity. In 1910, the electrical equipment inside now dates from the late 1930s. Number 20, the Schoolhouse, originally the Bata Lodging House. This became a school after the first school was allegedly burned down by an early-day juvenile delinquent. In 1879 through 1880, the school saw its highest enrollment of 615 students. It closed in 1942. Gregory House. Nathan Gregory operated a cattle ranch between Bodie and Aurora, and his wife, Catherine, appear on the 1900 census with 4 children. Their youngest son, Spencer, became a mining engineer and was one of Bodie's last residents. All right, we'll stop there. Moving into literary. This subject is plea for verdict of not guilty. And I will start at 120 and work my way to 160. Okay. All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at this time, prior to my summation, may I say first that I want to thank Judge Miller for his kindness and his courtesy. I have known Judge Miller and practiced before him for 15 years or more. He is one of our finest jurists. I have always respected him, and I have always known him to be fair and impartial. Any expression of respect I pay to him now is a reflection solely of the way I feel about it, because he cannot help me in this case. It is up to you, the jury. Judge Miller can only instruct you as to the law in the case. I also want to pay a tribute of respect to my esteemed friends, Mr. Jacobs and Mr. Rawlings. I have known Mr. Rawlings for 10 years. He is a vigorous prosecutor, and as a former public defender, he was as vigorous in his defense of prisoners as he is now in their prosecution. As to Mr. Jacobs, I have known him less time, but I have the highest respect and esteem for him also. As for you, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for the time and the attention you have given to listening to this case. I want to say now that when I questioned you, although you may not have realized it, I questioned you solely to find out if you were intelligent, reasoning human beings. I did not question you on sympathy, prejudice, or passion. I wanted to appraise your reasoning capacity, your intelligence. That was my objective. I also want to say to you that if I should make certain statements that are not in evidence, I want you to know that I do so not willfully, not knowingly. Please attribute it to some misunderstanding or misinterpretation of the facts. I have lived here all my life in Pittsburgh. I was born here. My pre-legal education was in Pittsburgh. The bones of my ancestors lie here in the soil of Pittsburgh. They have bequeathed me one thing, and this is a love of honesty. I yield to no man my passion for honesty and decency, and I hope to pass that on to my son and to my 2 grandsons. So if I say anything that is not in accord with the evidence, please do not attribute it to any unworthy motive. The defendant here before you now is guilty. He is as guilty as sin. He belongs in the penitentiary. I yield to no man in my respect to lawfulness, nor do I yield to any man in my abhorrence of violence. A violent crime has been committed, and this man belongs in the penitentiary. I am not here to try to pull the wool over your eyes. I am not here trying or attempting to smooth out some incidents. That man is guilty of a crime. He is an accessory to the crime of robbery. Anything I say to you here about finding a verdict of not guilty, I want you to understand, and for that reason, I want to put it to you plainly. This man is guilty of the crime of accessory after the fact of robbery. The penalty is the penitentiary, and that is where he belongs. So when I tell you now to return a verdict of not guilty, it is a verdict of not guilty with the indictment as a principle. You know Jackson did not testify to vindicate the law. Jackson did not testify to preserve the good order of society. You know that he did not do that. In every instance, his testimony was prompted by his honest desire to save himself from the long sentence that he richly deserves. However, if that testimony is not acted upon with the utmost caution, punishment may be taken away from the real culprit. I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that you have listened to this case very intelligently. The state has given you its theory as to the guilt of the defendant. I have attempted to give you a theory that the defendant is innocent, which you are normally to believe. The judge will give you more instructions on that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your kind attention. All right. Let's move into Q&A. We're going to start off with a deposition transcript before we move into a court transcript. Okay, I'm going to start this at 120. And the last jury charge, I spent just a few, maybe just 1 or 2 minutes in 120, then I went right to 140, but I would say the last half was at 160. Okay, all right. This is going to be, looks like defense is questioning here. Here we go. What does 1 to 10 okay mean? To save myself some time, we have a reference under the report. The items are numerically numbered 1 through 10. So instead of rewriting them, I would just state 1 to 10, okay. So it's incorporating by reference items 1 through 10 that appear in the second column. Is that correct? Yes, I see. Thank you. All right, down on the bottom, down toward the bottom, it says DESC, pages 6, 7, and 8. Now, what does that mean? That would represent the legal description to be used. As found on page 6, 7, and 8? Yes. Of the same packet? Yes. All right. Did you line out the word endorsements? Yes. Why did you line out the word endorsements? There was no request to issue any. What is the significance of a request to issue any endorsements? Well, anything that we could do based on instructions from the requesting party. Okay, I don't understand what an endorsement means. Request to issue means. So that's what I want you to tell me. I'm reluctant to have this witness provide expert testimony, but if he had requested for the endorsement, that would go ahead. What would he have asked for? Go ahead and explain that. Okay, well, an endorsement would be something that we would issue against or to bolster an item in our report. I see, like a special insuring paragraph or guaranteeing paragraph, that kind of thing. Yes. Did you line out accept prepaid items? Yes. Why did you do that? Why did I do that? Well, there was nothing that was prepaid at the time of that report, and there was no other exceptions to the title. You then signed it? Yes. It was typed by Bayless or Bayless 12111. Is that correct? That's what it says it is referenced to. That's what it is referenced to as compared to someone's signature or instrument? Yes. Who is that? I have no idea. Does that signify that someone compared the actual binder to items 1 through 10? Yes. There is a little circle above Bayless. Is that R2? It appears to be. Do you know what that means? No, I don't. Based on this document, Mr. Powers, am I correct in understanding that the request for a report was opened on December 9th and the actual report was typed 8 days later or prepared 8 days later? It was opened on December 9th and it was prepared on December 17th and compared to December 18th. Is that correct? Yes. Now that's 8 days. I would like you to tell me, based on your experience, do you know how many working days that was? Let's find out the working days. I'm showing the witness a calendar of 2010. My calendar shows that in December 2010, the 9th was a Tuesday and the 17th was a Wednesday. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 6 working days. Okay, 6 working days. Is that an unusually short time to complete a title report? Yes. Is there a normal turnaround time or normal time for completing a report? Anywhere from 3 to infinity per se, depending on the complexity of the search. 3 days to infinity. We hope to have them out at a minimum of 3 days, but that doesn't always happen. Okay, I'm going to switch transcripts. Okay. All right. Again, this is going to be deposition transcript before we go into court. And looks like defense is questioning with this one. Here we go. Do you have any idea how soon, or on a time estimate, how soon before April 8, 2009? I hadn't been to see one in quite a while since, no. So I'm going to read this starting at 140 and work my way to 160, okay? Are we talking like 5 years? Had you seen a chiropractor in the 5-year period before this accident? I don't recall. You may have or you may not have. I may have or may not have. I don't recall. Now, when you saw the chiropractor, did you receive a treatment? Yes. And to what part of your body did you receive the treatment? Just the normal parts of the body that they adjust. Can you be a little more explicit? No, I can't. Did it involve your back? Usually when you go to a chiropractor, it does involve your back, yes. I'm going to show my ignorance. I have not been to a chiropractor. You should go sometime. It's wonderful. I'm not trying to be cute or rude, but I'm just wondering, when you went to him, did he give you a treatment to the full back as far as you know? Yes. From your neck down to your buttocks? Yes. And when you went for such treatment, did you have some pain or discomfort? One time I woke up with a stiff neck, and I think that's the reason I went. It's hard to recall for sure. Do you have an estimate as far as what medical expenses you have incurred in medical and chiropractic treatments that you have received that you understand to be a result of the accident of April 8, 2009? Do I have a figure? Counsel, I've got that figure here. Thank you. That's great. You've provided that to your attorney? Yes. Do you claim that you have incurred any loss of income as a result of this accident? Yes. And what income have you lost, or on what basis do you feel you've lost the income? Again, if you have that, I can provide that to you if you don't have that in your paperwork. Well, okay, thank you. Maybe during the break we can go through what I have. Sounds good. Continue. Getting back to the business. Okay, any loss of income that you have sustained, would that be connected with the business of the House of Beauty? Yes. Is there any other out-of-pocket expenses as a result of services or income that you would have received other than from the House of Beauty? You lost me. I lost myself. Are you claiming loss of income from any other source other than the House of Beauty? Is that correct? Right on. Spot on. No. Are there any other out-of-pocket expenses that you have sustained other than the loss of income from the House of Beauty and from your medical expenses? Say that again, please. I'm sorry. Sure. You claim that you lost money from your business because you were unable to work or for whatever reason, but that you connect with the accident. Yes. You've had to pay some doctors and hospital bills and what have you. Your attorney is going to provide me with that information, and I would include with that. And I think your attorney would agree if there are any prescriptions that would be included in medical. Now, are there any other expenses that you have incurred that you connect with the accident? That I connect with the accident? Just peace of mind? I don't know. Is that included? No, that's not out of pocket. I'm talking about what you had to shell out in money that you've had to pay for. Frankly, I haven't talked about the complaint recently. If you are talking about damage to the car, I'm not including that either. We're not claiming auto expense because I think it was Mr. Bueller's car, but there was an ambulance bill. Other than that, I would include that with the medical. All right, it's medical, lost earnings, medication expenses. That's the only out of pocket. Have you had to employ someone to work in your home that you connect as a result of the accident? No. And is the House of Beauty, if you know what its legal entity is? What does entity mean? Is it a corporation? Is it a sole proprietorship? Is it a partnership? Or has it been a combination? It was a partnership when my ex-husband had it. Now it's a sole proprietorship under my name. You filed fictitious names or certificates or whatever it required? Yes, I did. Yes. Thank you. I have no further questions. We can get that information now. Let me think and see if I have any questions. While you are thinking, can we get that information from you about the bills and stuff? Sure, no problem. I have no questions. Not today, but within the next 30 days? Sure, I think we've sent you the answers to interrogatories. I'd offer to stipulate the original of this deposition may be sent to Mrs. Jesson's attorney and that it may be signed under penalty of perjury, that he will provide us with any changes in the deposition within 45 days after receipt, and that the court reporter may be relieved of her duties, etc., in connection with the signing and the possession of the deposition. And if the original is not available at the time of trial, a copy may be used. I agree to that. Do you want a copy? I think the original will do it. All right, and just so you know, penalty of perjury is, well, I use POP, and if the word pop ever comes up, I flag it. So pop does not come up nearly as much as penalty of perjury. So that's a choice for you if you would like to use it. It's always come in handy for me. So, all right, let me just date this so I know that we completed it. All right, let's move into a court transcript. And again, I got to 160 with that last one. Move my way to 160, okay? So this one is going to have both attorneys along with the court. So I'm going to start at 140, and I'll work my way to 160. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. People versus Henry Lawson, or is it Kyle Smith? It's Kyle Smith. Okay, Kyle Smith. Mari Brown appearing on behalf of the people. Good morning. How are you doing, sir? Sabrina Seitz on behalf of Mr. Smith, present before the court in custody. This is the time set for the preliminary hearing. Are both sides ready? Yes. Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Brown, you may call your first witness. Wait, move to exclude witnesses. Do we have any witnesses here? Yes, we would be designating Detective Hearns as our investigating officer. Okay. And then we have Deputy Johnson as our gang expert. Okay, you're asking that the gang expert sit through the testimony? Yes, Your Honor. And I would object to that. I'm assuming that Deputy Johnson has already reviewed all of the discovery and that nothing new is going to come out of him sitting here listening to all the testimony that's going to be given. That's assuming. We don't assume here. The objection is overruled. Ms. Brown, the people called Detective Hearns. You do solemnly state that the evidence you shall give in this testimony in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. Yes, ma'am, I do. Thank you. Please be seated. Please state and spell your full name for the record. Jason Hearns, Jason Hearns. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Counsel? Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Detective Hearns. Good morning. What is your occupation? I am a detective with the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department assigned to the Santa Barbara station. And how long have you been employed as a sworn law enforcement officer? For approximately 17 years. Were you on duty on September 24th of 2014 at approximately 3:30 p.m.? Yes, I was. And at that approximate time, did you make contact with Anthony Gates? Yes, I did. Where? At a residence across the street from Harold Park. And is Harold Park located within Santa Barbara County? Yes, it was, or yes, it is. During your contact with Mr. Gates, did you make any observations of him? Yes, I did. What did you observe? I observed, well, a black male adult lying in the doorway of a residence. I later learned that his name was Anthony Gates. Upon him arriving, telling us that when I asked him, he was lying in a pool of blood, and he had what appeared to be several gunshot wounds to his upper body. Based on his Mr. Gates' condition, was he transported shortly after your contact with him? He was transported shortly after via air ambulance. Do you know where he was taken? I don't recall the initial location where he was taken. On October 21st of 2014, did you recontact Anthony Gates? I'm sorry, what was the date? October 21st of this year. Yes, I did. Where was it that you made contact with Mr. Gates at that time? Well, it was at his residence. And did you ask Mr. Gates about what happened at Harold Park on September 24th, 2014? Yes, I did. What did he tell you happened? He told me that Trigger shot him. I'm sorry, what did you say? I didn't get that either. I said he told me that Trigger shot him. Did he tell you who Trigger was? He just knew him as Kyle, but he calls him Trigger. Did he tell you where the shooting took place? He told me that the shooting took place in Harold Park. Did he tell you the circumstances of the shooting? Briefly, he explained an ongoing problem between the two of them, between Trigger and himself, and he explained or told me that Trigger had gone into had left the location across the street from Harold Park, and he fled into, who is he? I'm sorry, he goes by Tony Anthony Gates. Anthony Gates fled into the park, and a few moments later, he was approached by Trigger, Mr. Smith, and Mr. Smith, fired multiple shots from a handgun at him, striking him. Did Mr. Gates tell you that he had had words with Trigger prior to the shooting? He had said that they had spoken prior to the shooting across the street. Did Mr. Gates tell you specifically where he was located when he and Trigger and they had used words prior to the shooting? I don't recall if he said the exact location. I may have put that in my statement with him. Did Mr. Gates tell you how much time passed between the exchange of words with Trigger and when he was shot by Trigger in the park? It was just a few moments, a few minutes. It was enough time for him to, who is him? We have to keep track who you are talking about so the jury doesn't get lost. It was enough time for Mr. Gates to run to the park, which was directly across the street. It's only a few hundred yards away. Did Mr. Gates tell you, once he was in the park, when it was that he first saw Trigger in the park? The first time that he saw Trigger, the first time Mr. Gates saw Trigger in the park was in the middle of the park, and that's when he was shot. Did Mr. Gates tell you that he was walking through the park and he turned around and saw Trigger with a gun in his hand? He was walking through the park and he turned. He saw Trigger with a gun in his hand, and he said that Trigger fired at him or shot him. And at that point, he said that he turned and he ran from there, not realizing that he had actually been shot until a few moments later when he was having difficulty breathing. And at this point, it was about the parking lot on the north edge of Harold Park. That's about when he realized that he had been shot. Did Mr. Gates tell you how far Trigger was from him when Trigger shot at him? Yes, he did. What did he say? He said that he was approximately 15 feet. All right, so that concludes our Mid Speeds Live class. Have a wonderful day.